Let me tell you something that might surprise you. If you're a man over 60, and you're waking up each morning feeling slower, weaker, maybe even a little bit more invisible, there's a very good chance the problem isn't your age. It's the hour before you go to bed. That small, quiet window of time between your last meal and when your head hits the pillow. It's not just downtime. It's not a throwaway hour. It is, in fact, one of the most powerful, overlooked opportunities to restore your strength as a man. But here's the catch, almost no one talks about it. You've probably been told to focus on the mornings. Take your vitamins. Go for a walk. Drink more water. And don't get me wrong, all of that matters. But in my 30 years working with older men, I've learned something most doctors never mention. Your comeback, your real, physical, hormonal, and emotional comeback, starts at night. I remember a patient named Bill. He was 73, a retired electrician with a deep voice and strong hands, but he looked tired. Not just physically tired. Soul tired. He sat across from me and said, "Doc, I don't feel broken. I just feel like I've stopped rebuilding." That hit me hard. Because he was right. He wasn't broken. But his body had stopped doing what it used to do so effortlessly: heal, recover, recharge. When I asked about his evening routine, he shrugged. "I usually just fall asleep watching TV. Maybe have a cracker or two." That's when I told him the truth. "Bill, your body wants to fix itself. You're just not giving it the chance. See, around 9 or 10 p.m., your body begins shifting gears. It wants to transition into recovery mode. That's when growth hormone starts to rise. Your blood vessels relax. Your nervous system begins to slow down, and testosterone, if supported, starts replenishing. But here's the problem. Most men go to bed either with nothing in their system, leaving their body starved for nutrients. Or with the wrong stuff, salty snacks, sugary treats, alcohol, heavy carbs, that disrupt sleep and inflame the system. Either way, the body ends up wasting its most natural healing window. What if I told you that one spoon of the right food during this hour, just one, could unlock better circulation, deeper sleep, and even help restore morning erections? That's not hype. That's biology. Bill made one change. Just one. He swapped the crackers for a spoonful of almond butter and a handful of pumpkin seeds. That's it. And 3 weeks later, he came back looking different. Brighter. Stronger. His words, not mine. "I don't feel like a different man. I feel like myself again." That's the power of this forgotten hour. And tonight, you'll have it again. The same quiet window. The same opportunity. What you do with it can either drain you or rebuild you. In the next part, I'll show you exactly why so many men start losing energy, drive, and blood flow after 60, and why this bedtime hour might be your secret weapon to reverse it. Don't miss this. It's where your real recovery begins. Here's the truth most men never hear. If you're waking up tired, stiff, disconnected, it's not just because you're getting older. It's because your body tried to heal during the night, and ran out of fuel halfway through. Let me say that again. Your body didn't fail you. It ran out of what it needed to restore you. I've seen it over and over again. A man comes into my office, he's not sick, but he's not thriving either. He used to be active, alert, strong in his body and sharp in his mind. But now, every morning feels heavier than the last. Not just in his limbs, but in his spirit. He says things like, "I sleep, but I wake up feeling like I didn't. I still want to be close to my wife, but my body doesn't cooperate. I get through the day, but I don't feel present." That's not aging. That's depletion. And here's what most men don't know, you're still producing testosterone. Your body still wants to circulate blood, rebuild muscle, restore drive. That part hasn't stopped. What's missing is the support. After 60, your body loses some of its efficiency. Nitric oxide production goes down. Arteries get a little stiffer. Sleep gets lighter. Testosterone dips. And yet, this is also the very stage of life when men stop giving their bodies what they need to compensate. You can't skip protein at night anymore. You can't ignore hydration or minerals. You can't wing it and expect to feel good in the morning. Because without those building blocks, here's what happens. Blood vessels don't dilate, circulation suffers. Muscles break down, less strength, less confidence. Testosterone dips lower, less drive, less desire. Sleep becomes shallow, no recovery, no clarity. So you wake up, and instead of feeling rested, you feel a little more drained, a little more fragile, a little more like a stranger to yourself. But here's the silver lining. That downward spiral, it's not permanent. Because the moment you start giving your body what it needs, especially before bed, it begins to respond. I had a patient named Dennis, 69, retired high school principal. Quiet guy. Stoic. He told me, "Doc, I just don't feel like I'm in the driver's seat anymore." We talked through his day, but it was his nights that caught my attention. No food after 6 p.m. Sleeping 6 hours if he was lucky. Waking up twice to pee. Always tired. No energy to even flirt with his wife. I told him gently, "Dennis, you're not old. You're underfueled." He looked at me like I was crazy. But he agreed to try something. We added just 2 things to his nightly routine, a light protein and magnesium-rich snack, and a full glass of water with a pinch of sea salt. Nothing fancy. Nothing extreme. And within 2 weeks, he was sleeping deeper. Waking up once instead of 3 times. And, his words, feeling like a man again. The point is this, your body isn't slowing down because it's broken. It's slowing down because it's waiting for you to meet it halfway. Give it the nutrients it needs during the only time it can fully use them, while you sleep, and you'll feel the difference faster than you think. In the next part, I'm going to introduce you to a man named Joe. At 71, he believed he was beyond repair, until one small change at night sparked something big. If you've ever wondered, could this really work for me? You'll want to hear Joe's story. Joe didn't come into my office looking for a miracle. He just wanted to feel like himself again. Not younger. Not superhuman. Just Joe. He was 71. Retired firefighter. A man who had once run into burning buildings without hesitation, but now found himself hesitating to even climb a flight of stairs. His handshake was still strong, but his voice. It had softened, like something inside him had dimmed. "I'm not depressed," he told me. "I just feel dull. Like I'm watching life instead of living it." I listened. He wasn't on heavy medications. His blood work was okay. But the deeper we went, the clearer it became, Joe was doing everything right during the day, and nothing before bed. He skipped dinner some nights. Drank just enough water to take his pills. Fell asleep to the TV with an empty stomach and a tired brain. And I knew right then, his body wasn't failing him. It was waiting. Waiting for one simple shift. So I gave him a challenge. I said, "Joe, let's not talk supplements. No pills, no programs. I want you to try just one spoonful of something different before bed. Give your body the fuel it needs to work while you sleep." He raised an eyebrow. "1 spoon." I nodded. "1 spoon. Every night. Just try it." That night, Joe started small. 1 tablespoon of almond butter. That's it. No sugar, no bread, just the real stuff. Now, let me tell you what happened next, because even I was surprised by how quickly his body responded. After 1 week, he was sleeping more deeply. Waking up just once instead of 3 times. By week 2, he noticed something that made him grin when he told me. "Doc, I woke up, and let's just say I felt 20 years younger." But that wasn't even the best part. The best part was what his wife said. She told him, "I haven't seen you stand that tall in months." Not because he grew, but because he had started reclaiming something deeper, his presence. His energy. His quiet confidence. It wasn't magic. It was magnesium. It was healthy fats. It was amino acids. It was his body finally getting what it had been asking for all along. Just one spoon. That's all it took to flip the switch. Joe didn't change his diet. Didn't join a gym. Didn't buy any expensive powders. He just gave his body the right thing at the right time, and his body said thank you. And the reason I'm telling you this? Because Joe thought he was too far gone. He thought feeling dull was just the new normal. But one spoon before bed reminded him that he's not done. Neither are you. In the next part, I'm going to show you the #1 mistake most men make during that final hour before bed. Even guys who are trying to eat healthy still get this wrong, and it silently shuts down your body's natural recovery system. Trust me, once you see it, you'll never go to bed the same way again. Most men don't realize they're making this mistake. They think they're doing something healthy, cutting off food early, going to bed on an empty stomach, maybe skipping dinner altogether to give the body a break. But here's what I tell my patients. You're not giving your body a break. You're leaving it stranded, right when it needs you the most. Your body does its deepest rebuilding at night. That's when muscle fibers regenerate. That's when testosterone is naturally restored. That's when blood vessels try to repair. But if there's no fuel in the tank, guess what? Nothing gets rebuilt. I had a patient named Ron. 70 years old, former pilot. Disciplined guy. Ate clean. Walked every morning. Didn't drink. He came to see me because, as he put it, I just feel flat. No spark. I'm doing everything right and still feel like I'm fading. We went over his labs. Nothing alarming. We reviewed his routines. He was doing all the right things, except one. At night? Nothing. No dinner if he wasn't hungry. No snack. No hydration. Just brushed his teeth and went to bed. And that's when I explained something most doctors never bring up. Going to sleep on empty doesn't help your metabolism. It starves your recovery system. You see, around 1 to 3 a.m., your body enters its most intense phase of physical repair. It needs protein. It needs minerals. It needs hydration. But if you haven't eaten in 5, 6, or 7 hours by then, your blood sugar tanks. Your cortisol, stress hormone, rises. Your testosterone stays flat. And instead of rebuilding tissue, your body just tries to survive the night. That's why Ron was waking up groggy. That's why his libido was fading. Not because he was getting older. Because he was going to bed underfed and under-recovered. So I gave him one simple assignment. Add a small, slow-digesting snack before bed, nothing heavy, just something with protein, magnesium, and healthy fats. He chose cottage cheese with a few walnuts. Within 10 days, Ron was sleeping deeper. He stopped waking up with night sweats. He told me he started having those kinds of mornings again. His words, not mine. He didn't change anything else. He just stopped starving his body at the worst possible time. Look, I get it. We were raised to think late-night eating is bad. But after 60, the rules change. Your body needs help. And that help doesn't come from pills or powders, it comes from nourishment, timing, and consistency. If you've been skipping nighttime nutrition because you think it's helping you, it's time to reconsider. Because you're not losing your edge because of age. You're losing it because your body is trying to recover, and you're not giving it the materials to do the job. In the next part, we're going to talk about the second mistake I see all the time: men eating the wrong bedtime foods. Salty chips, sugary snacks, even that innocent-looking granola bar, these might feel comforting, but they could be silently wrecking your sleep, your hormones, and your morning energy. Let me show you what to avoid, and what to swap in instead. Some men don't skip food before bed, but they still wake up tired, heavy, and unmotivated. Why? Because what they're eating at night is working against them. The body needs fuel before bed, but the right kind of fuel. And here's where most men go wrong: they reach for comfort. Not nourishment. I'm talking about those familiar late-night habits. A bowl of cereal. A couple cookies. Some crackers with cheese. Maybe even a scoop of ice cream or a handful of chips. They don't seem like a big deal. You've earned it, right? Something light before bed to wind down. But here's what those so-called comfort foods actually do. They spike your blood sugar, which triggers a release of insulin. And a few hours later, right when your body should be resting, your blood sugar crashes. That sudden dip can wake you up, trigger cortisol, and disrupt your natural hormone rhythm. That means lighter sleep. More tossing and turning. And worst of all, your testosterone production gets blunted. I had a patient named Frank. 68. Former gym teacher, still fit, still sharp. But he told me something that surprised me. "Doc, I've been waking up feeling anxious. Like I slept, but didn't rest." We looked into it. And what I found wasn't caffeine or stress. It was what he called his harmless habit. Every night, about an hour before bed, he'd have a granola bar and a little glass of chocolate milk. Harmless? Maybe in your 30s. But at 68, that little sugar bomb was blowing up his recovery process. We swapped it for Greek yogurt with a few berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Still tasty. Still comforting. But with protein, healthy fat, and a stable release of nutrients. 1 week later, Frank told me, "I haven't slept this steady in years." The point is, your body is smart. It doesn't want heavy sugar or processed snacks before bed. It doesn't need fast energy. It needs slow, steady, supportive nutrition, the kind that helps rebuild muscle, balance blood sugar, and boost hormone production. When you eat the wrong things before bed, you're not just sabotaging sleep. You're quietly choking off the very systems that make you feel like a man. Your circulation. Your strength. Your desire. So next time you head to the kitchen before bed, ask yourself, is this feeding my cravings, or feeding my comeback? Because one will leave you waking up groggy and drained. The other could bring back energy, confidence, and those mornings you thought were behind you. And here's the good news: once you know what to avoid, you can start choosing foods that actually support your manhood while you sleep. In the next part, I'll give you exactly that, the top 3 foods I recommend to men over 60 to help reignite blood flow, restore muscle, and rebuild their edge, all while they rest. These aren't exotic or expensive. You probably already have 1 or 2 of them in your kitchen right now. Let's turn your bedtime into the most powerful part of your recovery. Now that you know what to avoid, let's talk about what actually works. These aren't magic pills. They're not trendy supplements or hard-to-pronounce powders. They're real foods, simple, natural, and incredibly effective when eaten at the right time. Let me walk you through 3 of the most powerful nighttime foods I recommend to men over 60 who want to restore strength, circulation, and confidence, quietly, while they sleep. 1. Soft-boiled eggs, the nitric oxide kickstart. You've probably had eggs your whole life. Scrambled, fried, maybe in a breakfast sandwich. But here's the twist: eating 1 or 2 soft-boiled eggs at night can quietly transform your blood flow and hormone support while you sleep. Eggs are rich in leucine, an amino acid that boosts muscle repair and triggers nitric oxide production, the very compound that helps relax your blood vessels and send blood where it matters most. They're also packed with vitamin D and B12, which support testosterone and nerve health, both essential for arousal and sensation. Why soft-boiled or poached? Because they're easy to digest, gentle on your gut, and they release nutrients steadily throughout the night. I had a patient named Walter, 67, who added 2 soft-boiled eggs before bed every night. 10 days later, he told me with a smile, "Doc, I don't know if it's the eggs or the timing, but I'm waking up with more presence." We both knew what he meant. 2. Almond butter, the artery relaxer. 1 tablespoon. That's it. Creamy, rich, and often sitting in the pantry without getting the credit it deserves. Almond butter is loaded with magnesium, which helps relax blood vessels, calm the nervous system, and ease nighttime tension. It also contains arginine, an amino acid your body uses to create nitric oxide. The result? Better circulation, deeper sleep, and more stable blood sugar levels through the night. Carl, 74, started taking 1 spoon of almond butter before bed, sometimes straight off the spoon, sometimes on a rice cake. Within 2 weeks, he reported fewer nighttime wake-ups, better stamina in the morning, and, in his words, "My girlfriend definitely noticed." 3. Tart cherry juice, the sleep plus circulation supercharge. This one surprises most men. Tart cherry juice is one of the richest natural sources of melatonin, the hormone your brain uses to trigger deep, restorative sleep. But here's what makes it even more powerful. It's also packed with anthocyanins, plant compounds that reduce inflammation and improve nitric oxide levels. That means while you sleep, your blood vessels are opening up, your heart's getting support, and your groin area gets a much-needed boost in circulation. Leonard, 69, started drinking a small glass of tart cherry juice, just 4 ounces, 30 minutes before bed. Not only did he start sleeping deeper, but he also reported stronger morning erections and fewer nighttime bathroom trips. Each of these foods works in a different way. Eggs fuel hormones and repair, almond butter relaxes and nourishes arteries, cherry juice calms the body and deepens rest. But when combined over a few nights, they do something even more powerful. They send a signal to your body that says, "Let's rebuild tonight." You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just start with 1. Add it to your nightly routine and watch what happens over the next week. Coming up next, I'll explain the science behind this process, how your body is already trying to rebuild at night, and what happens when you finally give it the tools to do so. Because this isn't just about food. It's about timing, biology, and tapping into your body's natural recovery rhythm, something most men never realize they've been missing. The foods we just talked about do more than just fill your stomach. They unlock a biological process that most men over 60 have no idea even exists. See, your body isn't passive at night. It's not just off. In fact, it's doing some of its most important work while you sleep. But here's the key, it only works if you give it the raw materials to do the job. Let's break this down without the medical jargon. When you sleep, especially during the deepest stages, what we call slow-wave sleep, your body releases something called growth hormone. Now, most people think of growth hormone as something for kids or bodybuilders. But it's absolutely essential for older men. Because growth hormone is what repairs damaged tissue, rebuilds muscle, restores collagen, and even helps maintain healthy arteries. And here's the part no one talks about. If your body doesn't have enough protein, minerals, or essential amino acids available at night, growth hormone can't do its job. It's like showing up to build a house, but having no bricks, no wood, no tools. So instead of rebuilding, your body goes into maintenance mode. And over time, muscles weaken. Arteries stiffen. Testosterone flatlines. And you wake up feeling like someone drained your battery overnight. But that's not all. During sleep, your nitric oxide levels also rise, especially if your body has access to arginine or nitrates from foods like eggs, almond butter, and pumpkin seeds. Nitric oxide is the molecule that opens up your blood vessels, improves circulation, and yes, helps create and maintain erections. If your arteries are inflamed, stiff, or undernourished, that signal doesn't get through. And you end up waking up with weak flow, poor sensitivity, and low confidence, even if your mind is still sharp and ready. Now, I want to be very clear, this isn't about chasing youth. It's about working with your biology, not against it. I had a patient named Roger. 72. Former Navy man. Tough as nails. He came in because he was frustrated that his workouts weren't doing anything anymore. "Doc, I lift. I walk. I eat clean. But I'm getting weaker. Why?" I asked him about his nighttime routine. Nothing after 6 p.m. No protein before bed. Just water and the evening news. That was the missing piece. He was giving his body the effort, but not the ingredients to rebuild. We added a simple shake, whey protein, collagen, and a few walnuts, an hour before bed. That's it. In 4 weeks, Roger told me he was sleeping harder, lifting stronger, and waking up with the kind of energy he hadn't felt in years. His words: "I'm not doing more. I'm just finally giving my body what it needs to do the work." That's the science. It's not complicated. It's just neglected. Your body is trying to heal you every night. All it needs is your help. And in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you give your body that support, not just in theory, but in real time. Because what most men don't realize is just how fast things can change, sometimes in as little as 7 days. Let me introduce you to Thomas, and the quiet comeback that changed everything. Thomas didn't think anything would help. He tried the workouts, the vitamin packs, the breathing exercises, even some over-the-counter boosters his buddy swore by. Nothing stuck. Nothing changed. He was 68, a retired construction supervisor, tough hands, steady voice, but lately, everything felt off. "I'm still here," he told me. "But something's gone. My strength. My edge. I don't know how to explain it." I asked him what he was eating before bed. He looked confused. "Nothing," he said. "Is that important?" That was the moment I knew where to start. I didn't hand him a list of supplements. I didn't suggest a 12-week plan. I just said, "Give your body something before bed. Just one thing. A real food. A real chance." So he chose Greek yogurt. 1 small bowl. Plain, full fat, no sugar. He added a few blueberries, a sprinkle of cinnamon. That was it. And then he did the most important part, he stuck with it. Every night, 60 minutes before sleep. No fanfare. No expectations. By night 5, he told me he was sleeping deeper. By night 7, he wasn't waking up to use the bathroom anymore. By night 10, his wife pulled me aside in the hallway and said, "I don't know what you told him, but he's smiling again." And by night 14, Thomas walked into my office standing straighter, face brighter. "I feel like someone flipped a switch," he said. "My legs don't feel like sandbags. I wake up and want to move. I'm clear in the head. And down there, let's just say things are waking up too." What changed? Just one thing. He gave his body fuel, not just during the day, but when it mattered most. That single bowl of yogurt gave him slow-digesting casein protein to rebuild muscle, calcium to support nerve and vascular function, tryptophan to deepen his sleep cycles, and a steady stream of nutrients that quietly told his body, it's safe to restore now. No big promises. No complicated routine. Just one change, done consistently. This is what I want every man watching to understand. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to start giving your body what it's quietly been begging for. And when you do, things begin to shift, gently, steadily, powerfully. Thomas thought he was just tired. Just older. Just slowing down. He wasn't. He was undernourished. Underslept. And one small shift gave his body permission to come back online. In the next part, I'm going to break down that shift into a simple, step-by-step plan. No fluff. No theory. Just 3 actions you can take tonight to start rebuilding yourself from the inside out. Because once you feel the difference, even just a glimpse of it, you'll never want to go back. Once you get a glimpse of what your body can feel like again, you don't want to lose it. That's why I want to give you a plan. Not a to-do list. Not a diet. Just a simple, 3-step bedtime routine that supports everything we've been talking about, without complicating your life. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually works. Let's break it down. Step 1, choose one rebuild food, just one. Pick one of the powerhouse foods we talked about. A small bowl of Greek yogurt with berries and cinnamon. 2 soft-boiled eggs. A spoonful of almond butter. A glass of tart cherry juice. A scoop of protein plus collagen shake if you're on the go. You don't need all of them. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to send your body the right signal, here's fuel. Go fix what needs fixing. And here's the key, eat it 60 to 90 minutes before bed. That gives your system time to digest and absorb it slowly, right as your body moves into repair mode. Step 2, hydrate the right way. Most men are slightly dehydrated when they go to bed, and they don't even realize it. This silently ruins sleep, tenses up your blood vessels, and reduces your body's ability to transport nutrients where they're needed. So here's what I recommend. 1 glass of water, just 6 to 8 ounces, with a pinch of sea salt or a magnesium powder. Not too much. You don't want to wake up at 2 a.m. running to the bathroom. Just enough to replenish electrolytes and support circulation while you sleep. I've seen this one tweak lower blood pressure, reduce leg cramps, and even improve morning energy in as little as 3 nights. Step 3, wind down with purpose. This one doesn't come in a bottle. But it might be the most powerful of all. Most men don't realize that the state you fall asleep in sets the tone for how your body repairs itself. If you fall asleep in front of the TV, scrolling your phone, or stressing over tomorrow's to-do list, your nervous system stays activated. And your body can't shift into deep repair. So here's what I tell my patients. Create a 15-minute wind-down window. No screens. No news. Just something that calms the system. Read a few pages of a book. Stretch. Listen to calming music. Pray. Reflect. Breathe. It's not about being spiritual or perfect. It's about telling your body, we're safe now. Let's heal. That's it. 3 simple steps. 1. Feed your body. 2. Hydrate wisely. 3. Wind down with intention. Do this for the next 7 to 14 nights, and just pay attention. You'll sleep deeper. Wake up clearer. And start feeling like the man your body always wanted you to be. In the final part, I want to leave you with something more than information. Because this isn't just about food or sleep, it's about what it means to reclaim your strength after 60. You're not broken. And in just a moment, I'll tell you exactly why. If you've made it this far, I want to say something to you man to man. You don't need another article telling you to try harder or act your age. You've already tried. You've already carried the weight. What you need now is a new kind of start. And the beauty of it? That start doesn't require a gym membership. Or a prescription. Or some fancy new routine. It starts tonight. Right there in your kitchen, with one small choice. The spoon of almond butter. The handful of pumpkin seeds. The glass of cherry juice. Whatever it is, it's not just food. It's a message to your body. I haven't given up on you. Because here's what I've learned after 30 years of sitting across from men just like you. Most of the time, they're not broken. They're undersupported. Undernourished. Unaware that the body they think is failing them is actually waiting for them to show up. The biggest myth we've been sold as men is this idea that once we cross a certain age, we're supposed to slow down, fade away, quietly accept that our best days are gone. But I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s turn things around with just one quiet change. Not because they found a miracle cure, but because they finally understood. Healing doesn't stop with age. It begins with attention. With intention. With giving the body what it needs, at the moment it needs it most. That moment? It's not in the morning. It's not during your workout. It's not in the middle of your busy day. It's at night. In the stillness. When no one's watching. When your body is ready to heal, if you let it. So tonight, don't brush this off. Don't tell yourself you'll start next week. Don't fall into the same routine that's kept you stuck. Make one change. Give your body one reason to believe you're ready to rebuild. And here's what I promise you. If you do this for a few nights, just a few, you will feel something shift. A little more energy in the morning. A little more power in your legs. A little more life in your presence. And maybe, just maybe, a version of yourself that you thought was long gone, starts to return. Not because you're chasing youth. But because you're stepping back into your strength. You're not done. You're not broken. You're rebuildable. And it all starts with what you do tonight. If this message spoke to you, even just a little, hit that like button. Share it with a friend, a brother, a man you know who's quietly struggling. Drop a comment and tell me what you're going to try tonight. I read every single one. And if you'd like to help support this channel, consider making a small donation to keep these videos going and reaching more men who need them. You're not alone on this path. And sometimes, all it takes, is one quiet act of care before bed, to rewrite the next 10 years of your life. I'm Dr. James. Stay strong. Stay hopeful. And I'll see you in the next video.